Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to give you my thoughts on Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, starring Jim Carrey.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel.
Hey, I'm Sylvia Saska.
And I'm Jen Saska.
And we're the Saska Sisters.
Rise and shine, people. To wake up call.
Get in! Get a part of this! Subscribe the little butt down there. Look.
The Dolphin mascot of Miami's NFL team is abducted. Ace Ventura, a zany private investigator who specializes in finding missing animals, looks into the case. Soon, Miami Dolphins players are kidnapped too, including star player Dan Marino, making Ace's sleuth work even more pressing. Working with Dolphins representative Melissa Robinson, Courtney Cox, Ace closes in on the culprits, but not before many ridiculous misadventures. So yes, here we are talking about Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, the first of the original two films. They did some kind of like a junior, just side continuation, I guess, spin-off basically in 2009, I think. But this is a movie how the hell have I not watched it? I mean, horror and action are my favorite genres, but I do enjoy, comedy when I'm in certain moods. And Jim Carrey is always one I've felt kind of embarrassed I haven't really seen more of. I've seen Dumb and Dumber, years ago, and, everyone knows him as the Riddler, but I need to see more of his actual, a little more, credible work, I think. Dumb and Dumber, is a popular one too, but I've always meant to watch ones like Ace Ventura. I want to watch The Cable Guy, which I know is more of a thriller sort of thing, but I've grown to, have a lot of respect for Jim Carrey, though, because of some of his views outside, in the real world as well. I have quite a bit of admiration for him. So it doesn't necessarily matter like what their views are outside of it, but sometimes it just feels good to know you're watching like a decent guy's work, instead of like watching someone is a bit shifty behind the scenes or sees things a certain way and you feel a little about it. But Jim Carrey, what can I say about him here? This is probably his breakout role. It's still probably one of his most talked about roles. I mean, you still see even memes about Ace Ventura all over the place on the internet these days. It's one that my fiance has been trying to get me to watch for quite some time, and of course I end up watching it without her, but hey, maybe I can watch a sequel, or I'll even watch this movie again, because, yes, I pretty much absolutely loved Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Really, I think, well, obviously the highlight about it is Jim Carrey's performance. I mean, originally it was meant to be more of a straight-up detective Sherlock Holmes parody type of thing. But when they had eventually brought Jim Carrey on, I almost said James Carrey, which would have been technically correct, but he actually had the chance to, I think he did some rewrites, and then they ended up letting him do like a lot of improvisation and stuff like that, which has really just made the movie as much of a cult phenomenon as it is, if you want to say that. Because really, I think, just looking at it, for the first time, I mean, I know what a talented, widely popular comedian Carrey is, but just watching it on its own, it's like, okay, did they just give Jim Carrey like a basis for his character, like an outline really for the story, and just let him go crazy? And I swear that's what they did. Because it just feels like Jim Carrey having like bullet points for what his character is, and then just going off. It feels like he's just like running around the sets and everything like that, just playing the character how he how he sees them working. And apparently that's kind of what happened too. And it works really, really well. I enjoyed Jim Carrey a lot in this role. I think he clearly had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun with this movie too. I mean, it's only I think it's like an hour and 25 or something like that long. Just a lot of zany, off-the-wall wackiness I really got into. I will say, you do gotta be in a certain mood for this type of humor, though, because it is sort of a lot of, stupid humor, if you want to say that. Some low-hanging fruit sometimes, if you want to put it that way. So, even for me, I'm not always going to be in the mood for this type of comedy. But when I am, Jim Carrey is the master at it, and just you gotta admire, even if you're not like hysterical when watching this movie. I think you gotta give it to him, just how charismatic and just how much energy he puts into playing characters like this. And then you also have Courtney Cox co-starring. Of course, everyone knows her from Friends, and obviously she is gorgeous. But again, I've only just started watching Friends. I'm on like season 3 right now because my fiance won't let me watch it without her. But I love her on that show. She's my favorite on that show, actually. Along with Sarah Michelle Gellar, she's kind of maybe a crush of the '90s for me. Who knows? Even though I'm way behind on her work as well. But I feel like she just comes across like a really easy going actress. I feel like can gel with a lot of people, whether she's fully meshed with their style or not. So I feel like she's able to bounce off of Jim Carrey well enough. Jim Carrey can probably bounce off of anyone if as talented as he is. But I just think Courtney Cox, she's really easy to like. She's charming in this movie too. And to see her slowly being charmed and sort of humored by Ventura's antics, yeah, it's overboard, but you kind of go with it the way she does. And there's a pretty fun sex scene in this movie, and apparently it's not a spoiler so much, but it happens at Ace Ventura's house. He has a lot of animals there, and don't worry, he doesn't go for that or anything ridiculous like that. But apparently they had the animals chained down or something like that. But I guess one of the squirrels got loose and some other things like that, so that must have been fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey and Courtney Cox in this movie. And something I do have to address as well, I guess, is the fact that apparently this movie is seen as sort of transphobic, even at a time when the culture wasn't as sensitive to those types of topics. It still was kind of went after for the way they portray the main villain of this movie. It is a touchy subject, and now people have gotten on it more, even though it seems like it's only grown in popularity since it came out. It is tough to talk about, but if you look at it is insensitive in some ways, I guess, but if you look at the way Jim Carrey went into making it and playing his character and everything like that, I don't need to read the exact quote from him right now, but he said something along the lines of how he just wanted to play it as extreme and ridiculous as possible, so it'd obviously be just a big joke and fake and everything, but enough to a point where he knows it would be, stirring the pot a little bit. But, basically he doesn't really mean it. It's not really intended to necessarily seriously offend anyone. But of course, people are going to take it that way no matter what and want the movie banned and stuff like that. I don't think it's meant to be taken quite that seriously, but some can roll with the punches, some can't. But I don't think Jim Carrey wrote this with the intent or the specific urge in his mind to show hate or homophobia or anything like that. He just doesn't seem like that kind of guy if you see him outside of this stuff. So yeah, I still like how the movie played out. I like the little twist to try and throw in with it and everything. Just a lot of really just nice antics throughout, but the best part of it is just, again, Jim Carrey's mannerisms. Alrighty then, and I can't begin to imitate him. But it's just a ball. I had an absolute ball with this movie. Depending on my mood, like I said, I'm not always in the mood for this particular type of comedy, but I was today, and I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favorite comedies of all time already. I'm looking forward to watching the sequel, despite Courtney Cox not being in it. Depending on my mood, I'd probably give this movie between an 89 and like 92, 95%. Who knows? I liked it quite a bit. So anywhere from a B plus to an A, really. I do think it's a comedy classic. Let me guys think about this one, and some of the supposed controversy attached to it. And yeah, where does this rank among your favorite Jim Carrey movies of all time? Let me know. Bring up some other ones for me to check out and watch, and I will periodically. So yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Also, Dan Marino plays a decent role in this movie, and he and Jim Carrey end up having a decent little banter scene when he's tied up and Jim Carrey's being held at gunpoint and everything. So that was quite fun. So yeah, catch you guys later.